Sometimes you see a big pile of snow and the 12-year-old just comes out. It's really hard to get perspective on just how beautiful this area is through the lens of a GoPro.
The idea of making a settlement up here just confounding.
Isn't it though?
Yeah.
Here, coming just off the top of Odin Point on the Odin Overlook on Engineer Pass. We're starting to move on a little bit because we got a storm starting to move in on us. Want to make sure that we make our way down before things get too terribly soggy. Copy that. We've got a side-by-side coming up as well. Coming down off the pass, a series of switchbacks. Great thing is you get to look back on the trail where you've been, kind of see what some of that looked like. And then you get to come around the corner. See the next section again. Coming up on what I think is one of the coolest cabins in the area. Coming up through this view, you really almost don't see it behind all of the trees. The cabin is on the other side of the kind of the V here. And there is a bridge that goes over to get to the actual cabin itself. Of course, it's all private property. like 2 side-by-sides coming our way. On the exit of Engineer Pass on the Lake City side. Trail gets very mild for a little bit. Nice easy road. Got these beautiful aspen trees. Okay, starting the second half of our trip for the day. This is the entrance on the Lake City side to Cinnamon Pass, which puts us in a position of trying to complete the Alpine Loop. As well as make our way back to Ouray, which of course is our base camp. At least the basic road coming in is not much more than just a dirt road, but we're still kind of coming through a semi-residential and commercial district.
Okay, now I see why they call it Lake City.
Cinnamon Pass is not a terribly technical trail. It only carries a 3 out of 10 rating, though it is a 3/3, making it a easiest route line is a 3, hardest line is a 3, suggesting not a lot of optional routes. This may very well be the first time I've ever been on this. Pretty section of trail here that just kind of runs along the side of the lake. Starting to come up in this Cinnamon Pass a bit. Trail is not terribly difficult. I am seeing quite a bit of shelf road. What you would have done, so I missed a million miles of fun. Starting to climb a little bit more, getting a little more up into it, and dropped into 4-wheel low as we passed a sign that said 4-wheel drive recommended. Unfortunately, we're also starting to get a little bit of moisture, which is somewhat counterproductive to shooting video and taking pictures from the vehicle. We'll see how it goes, but I anticipate some raindrops in the frame, possibly some wipers, but at least it'll knock down the dust, which has been kind of oppressive for a good chunk of today. It's really hard to get perspective on just how beautiful this area is through the lens of a GoPro, because you can't see, but the sort of narrow field of vision out of the camera. And this is a place that when you look, it's just one bit of amazement followed by another. And things like the switchback here, you realize that the white Jeep there is the beginning of our group. You actually get to look at the front of the group as we go back and forth and realize just how much we're about to climb. Starting to get up closer to the summit here. It's going to be kind of interesting as we are westbound and we're coming up on the end of the day, so I think we might get some really cool sunset shots as the sun goes down on us here in a little bit. You up for a snowball fight in September, Jay?
I'm good.
Expecting that we will come up and cross the pass. This is Cinnamon Pass again. Expecting we'll come up and cross the pass here shortly. These sticks alongside of the road that are on the T-posts, the sticks are actually extensions that serve as trail markers when this is all covered in snow, so that travelers actually still know where the trail in fact is. That kind of helps support things like snowmobiles or cross-country skis and other types of winter travel. It does look like that's going to require a fair amount of maintenance on somebody's part. A bunch of them have gotten flattened and whatnot over the winter with the snow. And I would say this appears to be the summit. We have the signs up here noting it, marking it as such. begin the descent. Shot there that gives a really good idea of what this is going to be like for the next little bit. A lot of downhill switchbacks as we head down into this valley. Coming in here at the end of Cinnamon Pass. Into Animas Forks. Leaving Animas Forks, heading on California Gulch. So it is possible from here to head back up to Engineer Pass and sort of run the first section of Engineer in the opposite of the direction we ran it this morning. But this is territory we haven't covered yet today, and that's sort of preferable. So we're going to run California, and from California we'll make a jump over to Hurricane and run Hurricane and then Corkscrew. I don't know if this particular segment is going to turn out well on camera or not. It looks cool on the display. It's sort of an everything fading to dark in the lens flare behind the camera. But it could just be a big black blur that's not very interesting to look at. The mine in the background there looks kind of cool, for at least not through the camera.
And if I can remember correctly, this was the mine that was actually for sale last year. I have no idea if it was sold, abandoned, or what, but they had for sale signs up the year before last. That's it. The name of this mine is the Frisco Mine.
what sort of liability paperwork would go with the purchase of a mine. And this is the final ascent to California Pass. Which again is all coming to the point of how you get over the top of the mountain between Lake City and Ouray. And certainly this sounds like it'll be the tallest of the passes that we go over today. Time to start the climb out of the bottom of California Pass and away from the turnout. That would have been an opportunity to go into Poughkeepsie. This is the other side of it, down from Engineer, and continue our climb up towards Corkscrew Pass. We're still headed for some of those sunset pictures.
We're going to camp here next year for the Ouray trip, right?
If you think you can get your trailer up in here, you're welcome to camp up here.
Challenge may be accepted.
And here we have the top of Hurricane Pass at 12,730 feet. Sometimes you see a big pile of snow and the 12-year-old just comes out.
No bashing, only made it about halfway up.
I've got it on video.
Yes, we also found 2 years ago, there was a mudslide that closed 550, and the trails through here were packed, bumper to bumper. There must have been 5,000 Jeeps crammed in this little area right here.
On the initial climb.
Yeah, you said it right earlier, man. The views along this whole pass has just been the best I've ever had. So I definitely appreciate this day out here.
The initial climb up onto Corkscrew.
Hurry up if you want me to stop.
It doesn't look technical because it is basically just a flat road, just a dirt road. This is actually a pretty significant climb at this point for something that is theoretically a road. Think about it, some of the steep climbs in Moab are, 12 to 15 degrees, so it's starting to be kind of on par with some of those. Back to a 11-degree climb here. See the turn and the climb that was just made there. Get another look at it here. Sort of non-trivial steepness to some of this stuff that we've got out here in Colorado on what we consider to be a mild trail. Twelve, 15, 16, 17. Back up to 15, 17. 14, 15. 15. 18, 20. this is another set of tight switchbacks. Up 10 to 8, and it would seem that our trip here is rapidly turning into a night run. So last time I came through this was after several days of rain, and this section in here was just loose and sloppy and slippery. Today it looks almost solid.
Whoever named it Corkscrew did a phenomenal job with the name.
Is this anybody's first evening/night run?
Chris and Heidi, this is the first time we've been out at night.
Yep, Bob and Sally, we've done bright and early, dark, early morning runs, but not night runs.
Not done night runs either.
That's how Chris and I met in Moab. We started a night run.
Welcome to the Blair Witch Project.
Funny part is if you look up and above the trees, you can see plenty of dusk.